the Gambia will experience development. Because looking at the Gambia now, today we are celebrating 60 years of independence. But we have some people at the hospital, lying down right now. There is no medicine for them. We have some people that are starving right now. There is no food for them. And yet our leaders have to pull out huge amount of money to go and celebrate independence.
Exactly.
Just yesterday, there was no bread here in this country.
Exactly.
For me, for one, I don't think it is necessary for the Gambia to celebrate independence again. The money that could have been used to celebrate independence should have been, in fact, diverted, maybe to provide food for the Gambian people. When you look at the Gambia, of course, we are blessed with a river that is not salty. All right, good mornings. Today, I have a guest here by the name Malik Jallow. So of course, today we all know that Gambia is celebrating its independence, 60th independence of this country. On 18 February 1965, the Gambia regained back her political independence from the hands of our colonial masters, the British. So since then, on the 24th April 1970, Kairaba Jawara was the president. He ruled this country for a period of 32 years, and of course, July 22nd, 1994, Jammeh came to coup d'etat and of course ruled the country as well for a period of 22 years. So today the Gambians are celebrating, of course, 60th independence. So today I'm going to take you through this interview regarding the importance of independence. And of course, I believe in 2 weeks ago, we had a voice from Jammeh telling the Gambian people that he's coming back. So of course, I'll interview you based on that aspect as well. But before then, I would like you to introduce yourself to the audience, to tell the audience who you are, and of course, what is the purpose of this interview. So Malik?
Well, good morning everyone. My name is Malik Jallow, a noble student of CHA, Collective Hands Academy.
All right, thank you so very much. Malik is in grade 12 arts and of course, pursuing her secondary educations in a school called Collective Hands Academy, situated at Bambo, just opposite the Alvihaj. So Malik, as you are aware that the Gambia is celebrating her 60th independence since we regained our independence from the British. So can you tell the people or the audience what is your take regarding independence? Should we celebrate independence as a country or should we not celebrate independence as a country?
Well, you know everything, there is a positive side and there's a negative side. Right. Looking at the other aspect, we can celebrate this day because it was the day when we were free from the British rule. Like we gained our own independence and then we were as a republic in 1970. You understand?
Right.
In the other hand, we can celebrate. But in the other hand, let us look, since then, how old is Gambia today? Is 60 years old. What are the development that took place? All these are points we need to consider before jubilating the success or the independence of this country called the Gambia.
Right.
During the colonial period, we are maltreated.
Right.
We had things like not legitimate trade, but we had a trading of human beings called the slave trade. Before the Atlantic slave trade, there was a trade called the Sahara slave trade, which involves the Trans-Sahara Desert, the South Sudanese, and then the Arab, the Berbers, and the Moors. You understand? It involves the buying and selling of goods and services, or human beings, I can say rather. So now, when we have that type of trade being abolished, and also we have our own republic, and we'll be able to create our own laws and implement it without the interference of other countries, that is a very big congratulations to the country of its own. But looking at the developments, how many prosperous development has been done since then? 60 years compared to other countries which are 50 years old, 56, 60 years old. Look at the developmental status. Are they equal? We said no. Just yesterday, before the day today, that was 17. It is a remarkable day yesterday because Gambians will remember this date as a day that bread was not available in the country. You roam all over. We, the students, we are suffering. We don't have bread to eat. All we had was rice. We'll walk all the way to the market area to look for rice, and everywhere the rice is finished. Why? Because that is what people have to depend on.
So
the other breads that we can have are very costly. These are Adamsa sweet breads, which are $90 or $150. They are very expensive for us. We had the $10 bread that we could actually base on, but then no, the breads weren't available yesterday. But so luckily today we get to have same food, which we are able to sustain ourselves. So looking at this day today, I see people actually posting statuses trying to celebrate this day. But I don't think it has to be celebrated on the other hand.
Okay.
Looking at the employment rate, it is very, very, very low.
So
People are very unemployment right now in this country. You understand? That is why the cases are rampant. We can all say, if Jawara's regime, we were not available, but then Jammeh's regime, most of us, we are victim to Jammeh's regime. So, you understand? There were some development that took place, because he even have a slogan that says, grow what you eat and eat what you grow. But now, where is that agriculture? It is nowhere to be found. During Jambian time, there will be a specific day in each and every school. He will give a particular amount of money for schools to organize programs among students themselves, for them to grace that success, and the development which was going on. Schools were built, if not free education for all, but most of the students in the Gambia go through or went through this free education. Even I myself, I went through it. You understand? And we're saying a very big thank you to that. Agriculture was in place, educational system was in place, transportation, the prices, everything was in control. But now, no price control. Inflation is taking place. Everything is increasing drastically, and there is no say after it. So are we? Let us sit back and relax, and then think: are we happy as a nation? How our country is going? Look at a few days ago, there is no fuel in the country, no petrol. People have to go long distance looking for petrol, and then yet still there is no petrol to be found in the country.
Sad.
That will kill these people. Okay. The schools that are built now, they are saying, where are those effective learning? Looking at the interhouse in the country here, go to West Park, you will see different colors of students. Uniforms will be rampant in these streets. Blue, green, black, yellow, every color of uniform will be there. Why? Because the effectiveness of the learning lacks. The facility is lacking. Looking at our university, only one university in the whole country. It is a shame. Shame to the country. And you're saying what? We are progressing? We are trying, but we are not yet on the line to take off as a developing nation. We're not even on the track yet. So I think we need to sit back and then recall back before we celebrate again.
All right. Prior to independence, we had some Gambians in the likes of E.F. Small, John Qualify, I.M. Gaba Jahumpa, those people, those stood on their feet and say no to colonialism. In fact, I could remember in history we have learned that the first political party to establish was Gambia Democratic Party, which was founded by John Qualify. So of course today, as you can see, Gambian people are forgetting all these Gambian nationalists in the life of P.S. Njai, I.M. Gaba Jahumpa, Karaba Jawara, you name them. What do you think the Gambian people should do for these people that we call nationalists? For example, E.A. Small, Gaba Jahumpa, Safari Masingate. What do you think the Gambian people should do for these people so that we cannot forget them in our lifetime?
I know they will say like building memorable things like a hospital and naming it after them, like the Royal Victoria Hospital, which is named after Edward Francis Small.
Right.
And then having a school by the name JC5. All these are not enough. So, looking at the historical background of other countries, we've been to Senegal months ago for our excursion trip. So, we saw things which were beyond our imaginations. Yeah. Looking at the historical sites of those countries. So, you understand? Mm-hmm. So this nationalism must be cherished because they were the ones why we are here today celebrating this date. So 18th of February 1965. Because E.S. Swall and the likes of Saroda Kerawa Jawara were the ones that went for the meeting for the final meeting for agitation of our independence. So now we cannot forget these people so easily. So, you understand? Looking at our slavery house, where is it? It is nowhere to be found. Everything is demolished. Looking at the Senegalese one, it is well constructed. Every time they're repainting it and they're trying to keep it as new as it is. But then where is the Gambia? History is erasing away. And then we say this is a country. A country without a history is not a country. And when your history is dying, there is no one to pick it up. These nationalists tried very, 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 very well. You cannot call Gambia without calling E.F. Small. So you cannot name Gambia without calling Sadora Keraba Jawara, P.S. Njai, JC5. All these are national leaders that actually fought for the independence of the Gambia. Yeah. And then today, we can count the people who really remember those people today while they are praying for Gambia today.
Very well.
I can promise you that because there is not a single person who will say in recognition or in remembrance of or in memory of Sadora Keraba Jawara we celebrated 18th February 1965 today, which is so sad. Looking at other countries, we have Abdou Diouf. All those people are nationalists in Senegal. We have Kwame Nkrumah. You have, South Africa, Nelson Mandela. All these people are being cherished. They are being remembered in their countries. So why are we forgetting our own nationalist people, Gambians? Yeah. It is sad indeed.
It is sad. So it means we have to go back to the drawing boards in order to inculcate knowledge in the heart of mind of the students regarding history. In fact, for me, I believe history should be a core subject whereby each and every student should learn to become more patriotic and, of course, to become nationalist. Now, prior to independence, there was a confederation called Senegambian Confederations, which was signed between the Gambia and Senegal. At some point, we have learned that the British were unwilling to give Gambia their political independence because they believe Gambia was among the smallest countries in West Africa. Gambia was not blessed with natural resources. But yet our leaders, they say, no, Gambia should be a sovereign independent state. But at some point, of course, Senegambian Confederation was signed between the Senegalese and the Gambians. But we learned that it doesn't last long. It collapsed along the way. Some people are still advocating for the Gambia to be added with Senegal so that at least we can experience or we can enjoy at least some development. Today we are celebrating 60th of Gambia's independence. So if you are asked, for example, what is your perception regarding Gambia being added to Senegal so that Gambia can develop just like Senegal? What is going to be your take on that?
Well, I think we will need another 100 years for that to be successful. Looking at this 60 years, in that 60 years, I think the Confederation was built. But then there were differences, and then there were reasons why the Confederation fails. Okay. In which one of them includes the size of the country. So, looking at Gambia's population right now, it is so low compared to that of Senegal. So it's like Gambia is the tongue inside of the Gambia. Inside of Senegal, sorry, I can say. It's in the mouth of Senegal and it is very low. We are surrounded by Senegal. Only on the left side, that is, we have the Atlantic Ocean. Sorry. So other than that, we are surrounded by Senegal. Yeah. So having two join Gambia and Senegal will bring so much commotions. One, language barriers. Very right. We have English as our official language and they have French as their official language. Two, we speak Mandinka, they speak Mandinka, but then even our Wolof differs.
Now, rely entirely on agriculture. The richest people in this planet are farmers, agriculture. But when you looked at most of our youth in this country, they are lazy, they are never want to take part in agriculture. Now, let me draw your attention, of course, when Kairaba Jawara was a president at the time, there was a village, two villages, Jahali and Pacha, where Kairaba Jawara was, enticing or persuading our Gambian people to engage in agriculture. In fact, at some point, we have learned that most of the Gambian people, they rely entirely on the rice being produced here in Gambia. And Gambia was self-sufficient by then. Why did Gambia change suddenly? We are dependent on other countries for feeding, for survival. Why?
Well, to my own understanding, during Jawara's regime, as our parents always say, I wasn't present there, but my mother always say, right, if you have a little amount of currency, which means the dollars, you would jubilate, you can use it for a whole week. All right. And it will be efficient, so, like you will sufficient with it. Right. But then looking at the economy, as we are going, the economy level is increasing.
Nice, inflation is taking place. Right.
So moving into Jammeh's regime now, when he took over, nice. Jammeh was a dictator, we all agree with it. Dictator. But then being a dictator.
Why do you call him as a dictator?
Why we call him as a dictator? Because anything he says stands and no one dares to speak a word.
But we believe as government teachers and of course students, the best system of governance is military ruled. So why do you have to call him as a dictator?
That is what I'm about to say now. We Gambians are very stubborn and I think dictatorship, it is what we need in this country.
Very well.
The crime rate is increasing, rampant, rape cases are rampant. During Jammeh's regime, it's just one you will be hearing. Right. Why? Because he's a dictator. Okay. He will just sit on news. I greet you all Gambian people and I just said this and everybody will say, hey, he said this. Yes. They wouldn't even say his name, they were using words.
We succumb to his ideas.
He will use, people will even use another word
like
to
Messi,
Ronaldo, Oga, you understand all those names. Right. Just why they are afraid of him. Right. Whatever he says will stand. There was price control in the market.
But the country was moving
moving forward. Development was coming into the country. Right. But then, when 2016 election was coming, we had this coalition team. Yes. We hoped because it is said two heads are better than one.
Two better heads are better than one.
Exactly. Right. So we had to believe that maybe all those heads together will bring more development than what Jammeh was actually bringing, because people were fed up of him being a dictator in the country. Nice. They wanted to live a democratic life. Okay. So we thought and we believed that all those heads coming together will actually take the country forward. But then when Jammeh stepped down, all the country people regretted him stepping down.
So which means today the Gambian even are advocating for Jammeh to come back.
Yes.
In fact, this is, now we are moving to another subtopic, but the topic itself today is independent. So the Gambia celebrate independence. But last week we have had voice from Jammeh a voice note that he's coming back to this country. Jammeh left this country when he was defeated by President Barrow in 2016 elections.
Yes.
And now he said he's coming back. So if Jammeh is to come back to this country, what do you think is going to happen? Because for me, I believe it's going to be a disaster. There'll be political instability. There'll be chaos. There'll be violence everywhere.
And then I am aware that his party is still alive. That is the APRC.
APRC.
You understand?
All right.
So having Jammeh to come,
yes,
even if he cannot contest again as a president, but he can choose someone from his party, and then he will be giving the person advice, and the person would follow his footsteps as he does.
So which means we are supporting for Jammeh to come back?
Because that is what Gambians need now.
Who are those Gambians who need Jammeh to come back?
We Gambian citizens.
So you are among those people who need Jammeh to come back?
Everybody is.
For what reason? Why do you need Jammeh to come back?
We need Jammeh because our economy is reducing drastically. One, crime rates are increasing. You know, rape cases are rampant. People are just living anyhow they want to live without following the laws of the land. With Jammeh being present, just his influence can change a lot of things.
But we say like a nation without peace cannot develop. You see that? But if Jammeh is to allow, or Jammeh is to come back to this country, I believe there will be violence, there will be chaos.
That is why everything is
because before Jammeh left this country, in fact, you know, when he was defeated in the election, he said he's not going to leave this country because there was election malpractice.
Yes,
you understand? There was discussion, ECOWAS, you know, he left this country to Equatorial Guinea. And now that he says he's going to come back. Right now, the Gambia, there is peace. Since there is no development, but there is peace. You understand? People will wake up early in the morning, go and do their work and come back without no violence. You see that? So if Jammeh is to allow to return back to this country, Mali, don't you think there is going to be bloodshed in this country?
And what will be your percentage on that say?
Of course, because you know, Jammeh supporters are still here in this country. In fact, sometimes you will see that going around to protest. And if Jammeh here is going to come back, Jammeh, maybe they will in fact ask Jammeh to go and then, you know, maybe contest for an election, or Jammeh, they will tell Jammeh to go and seize power. You know, Jammeh was then a soldier before coming into power. So now that he's having this mentality like this, you know, military stuffs, you understand? So my fear is if he is to allow to come back to this country, perhaps there'll be political instability.
Is he not a Gambian?
Because, you know, we have learned in TRRC that around 70 Ghanaians were killed by during Jammeh's government. In fact, the Ghanaians, they wrote petitions to summon Jammeh to court, International Criminal Court. And of course, some Gambians also were beaten. So you mean what you are trying to say, Jammeh must face justice?
He must face justice.
And then now you are telling us Jammeh must come back.
He must come back and face justice because this is where everything took place.
But do you think Jammeh can face justice here in this country?
I'm not sure about that, but all he needs to come back and then face those people or those family members that people actually claimed that the Jammeh did this.
And do what?
He come and face those people and then face justice. So from there, because he's a Gambian, he has every right to come back to this country.
Yes, it's right that he has every right to come back to this country. But now looking at the political atmosphere right now, it's not friendly for Jammeh to come back to this country.
Let him wait because it is near to election now.
We have seen Hussein Habre, you know, in his country, there was like executions, people were maltreated, people were brutally tortured. At some point, you know, he left this country, he ran all the way to Senegal. So they allow him to stay for maybe more than 10 years. But finally he faced justice. And right now he's even facing justice. So for me, my fear is if Jammeh is to return back to this country, there'll be more chaos and violence. Because we have some Gambians who are still a fan of Jammeh. You see that? So if Jammeh is to come back to this country, I'm afraid for the Gambian people.
Well, it has to be, he has to come and then face justice and let us see how best development can go forward. Okay. Because without Jammeh, our development is moving backwards.
But we have some Gambians who have the knowledge, the skills. When they are voted into office, of course, they can promote development.
But then are we Gambians ready to put those people into office?
Unless we inculcate in their minds and heart civic education.
And how are we going to inculcate that spirit into them?
By organizing seminars and symposiums.
And will people respond to our cause?
Of course, I believe. Right now, I believe some Gambians have been aware about, you know, the political jinkoyostic that is going on in this country. We have some Gambians that are very conscious. You understand? It is true that during elections, I don't know what usually happens to these Gambian people. During election, they'll just close their eyes and go and vote for the wrong person. And yet they will, sit and complain. But of course, I believe in 1 year time, 2026 elections, there is going to be a change of government.
I don't think people actually go over their party manifestos before they vote in for people actually.
What is a party manifesto?
Well, this is a document that contains every program or agenda a leader wants to put into place when the person comes into power.
Okay.
You understand?
All right.
So now, me wanting to contest as a president,
Yes.
I will have my manifestos and I will be like, when I come into power, within 5 years,
Yes.
I will develop agricultural sector.
Yes.
I will develop the entertainment field. I will develop the educational aspect.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So me coming into power, before I even contest for election, I will show it to my people.
Very well.
And they will have to read and then understand actually what type of educational system I'm going to embark on. Is it the junior school, the high school, or the tertiary institution?
Okay.
Having the developmental aspect, which is the entertainment aspect.
Okay.
Are we going to be inviting foreign artists, or are we going to use our own artists, or invest on our artists here?
So,
all these points need to be considered.
all right.
You understand?
Right.
But we cannot just come and say, I will develop the country. I will make sure everybody have 5 bag of rice.
Yes.
Or you understand? When come you just give bag of rice or onion.
Yes.
You see, and then
I'll
you are going
build schools.
I'll build schools. You understand?
Yes.
So you see that I'll build school. Hey, person A said I will build school.
Yeah.
Person B said he will not build school, but he will do this. Who should I vote for, A or B?
Yes.
It's bringing confusion.
Okay.
But when person A say I will build tertiary institutions,
Okay.
because we know Gambia we lack tertiary institution. We just have one university.
One university.
Just one.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Having a leader who will want to initiate another tertiary institution here will be a boost for the Gambian
Gambians.
economy, educational system.
All right.
Do you understand?
Yes.
That is a key point that needs to be think again, reversed again.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Because the university is very far from where actually people live.
So
you understand?
Faraba.
Faraba is very, very far. People will complain about the buses,
Okay.
where they will get the bus, and even before they reach the ground or the faculty, before they reach there, before they have their classes and then come back home, it is
All right.
late.
Yeah.
They're exhausted already.
Okay.
So now having to develop that aspect, people will actually vote in for you. One,
So
agricultural aspect.
Yeah.
Are we going to depend on the importations,
Yes.
or are we going to depend on exportations of our cash crops?
All right.
You understand?
Yes.
That is so. We are very, very known for agriculture, because it is said agriculture is the backbone of every country's economy.
All right.
Without agriculture, your economy will never go forward. Without a backbone, you won't be able to sit.
All right.
All you do is lie down.
All right.
We need to have a backbone so that we can move forward.
Right.
And then economic agriculture is what needs to put that into place. Well, I can say when I come into power, I will make sure each and every region or every place,
Yeah.
I will have a very big farm wherein the youths and then the old people will engage in agriculture for their community use.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
That being the case, people will actually know, well, this want to bring in economic agricultural development.
Okay.
Why not we vote for this person?
Okay.
But then the person will just come, I will develop agricultural aspect. But then the person didn't tell you how and when and where will the person develop agricultural aspect. And when
how?
you come, you will tell, hey, this so said he would develop this, but the person is not doing it. You are to be blamed because you did not question the person how, where, and when will the person do it.
So in a sense, which means if the Gambians are to be voted, they have to look into the party
manifestos before they vote into it.
Okay.
Because we are approaching to election very soon.
Very soon.
In just a year time.
1 year time.
Exactly.
Elections. Other people said Gambia now, of course, in fact, should be handed over to Senegal. But of course, me too, I don't buy that idea. Gambia now is 60 years old, as I reiterated, right? Kairaba Jawara ruled this country 32 years, Jammeh 22 years, and of course, Barrow, of course, is also the incumbent government or the president. Now, people said Jammeh could have been the best president to rule this country because he was the second richest president in Africa. He was having limousines, vehicles, he was giving money to wrestlers, inviting foreign artists to come and, celebrate with the Root Home Coming Festival, giving them money, millions, calling one a person, giving the person millions. People saying, when Jammeh was in power, why was it that he don't build a state to allow the poor Gambian to go and settle? People are saying, when Jammeh was the president, why was it that he don't build many hospitals? People are saying, when Jammeh was the president, why is it that he don't construct many infrastructure, extend electricity to other part of the communities? So if Jammeh is to allow to return back to this country and, in fact, become the president again, do you think Jammeh will encourage those developments again?
Surely he will, I believe, because we believe that development can't be done in a single month or a single year.
All right.
All what you were saying, having to build other hospitals, but then even though Jammeh's regime was in place, hospitals were filled with medicines, free medicines, I can say. There were facilities in hand.
Okay.
But then how can you have thousands of hospitals when only one is having these facilities?
Okay.
It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
is having these facilities into those hospitals than having thousands of them without having those facilities.
Likewise, to the school aspect, we are having thousands of schools now built, but with little employment.
Where
does it make sense?
Where are the teachers? Okay. You go to a school, a teacher will be teaching 10 classes.
Okay.
We don't have qualified teachers in schools. By then, all the colleges will be filled with teachers. They will be going for government school training, and then before they will be qualified teachers, they will be sent to schools. You understand?
School, yeah.
And then that is how they will be training. But now, where are those teachers now?
Yeah, we don't have them.
Anybody you tell, are you going to be a teacher? Or the first thing they will say, yo, Buguloma.
Buguloma, okay.
Buguloma.
Wow.
What do they think of teachers?
Yes.
Teachers were the ones that taught them and then inculcate the spirit of education into their systems.
Very well.
So why is it that they can't also follow that footstep to give to the young ones as well?
Okay.
But then no. Gambia College now, where is it? By then teachers were filled there. They will be sent to different schools. The likes of St. Peter's, Gambia High. You will see a teacher who will be very young, I can say 18, 19 years of age, will be training.
Yes.
That is not, you are not yet a complete teacher, but then you are training.
Undergoing training.
You understand? You are sent to schools and then they will see how you're going to perform. So from there, you are handed your certificate or something and then you'll be pushed forward as a qualified teacher. Very well. But now, you see somebody who just graduate and just come, I'm a teacher without passing through Gambian College.
Yes.
Where is it?
That is jeopardizing our educational aspect.
That is why we're taking last as far as work is concerned.
Exactly. So the government need to look into that aspect as well. Now, of course, today the discussion is whether the Gambia would be celebrating or the Gambians will celebrate her independence or not. But then, as you can see, we are touching different aspects or different angles. During national struggle, we had trade unions.
Exactly.
In the life of Battles Trade Union, the slogan "No tax and without proper representations." We have Gambia Workers Union, Teachers Unions. People behind these trade unions were nationalists. They love this country deep down in the bottom of their hearts, and today they are gone, they died. You see that? They struggle for this country, but yet there's no development in this country. What do you think is going to happen if these people were to rise up from their grave and look at the Gambia that they struggle for, maybe 10 years, 15 years? What do you think will happen to these people?
They won't be happy. They won't be happy. Because they would not want the Gambia they left to be this way. They always want development to progress higher, to move forward. But when they come, like, let us just hope. It's not possible, but imagine just general knowledge. If they have to wake up from where they are right now, I bet from Banjul there, Sarora Kairaba Jawara would be from the National Assembly. The first thing we'll see is the National Assembly. He will be happy. But after all, looking in depth of the National Assembly, what actually is going on there? Are the laws being made favoring the citizens or themselves there? Actually, all these things need to be put into control. The Gambia Teachers Union, the Workers Union, are the workers being paid according to their service?
No, of course.
Thank you very much.
They have been marginalized.
The Workers Union was in place so that the workers will be equally judged based on what they work for. So you work high, you'll be paid high. But then you cannot be paid high while you're working less. The less paid people are the police officers, I can say, the nurses and the doctors.
And the teachers.
Forget
not the teachers.
I can say, well, the people that are actually protecting our lives, the armed forces, see them. The police officers, you can ask them, the least they've been paid, or the highest, we can say 3-5, 4-5. Before the mid of the month, it's finished.
It is exhausted.
Teachers, where are you? The transportation only, breakfast, finish. How would you feel your family that you left at home?
Disaster.
See, so it's like the Gambia Workers Union is not actually effective. Teachers Union, same thing. We have the likes of Battles Trade Union. I don't know. You know, that is just it. Right. All these people, when they wake up, all they will see is sadness. And they will be sorrowed. Like, this is not the Gambia they left.
I will suspect also they will say, this is not the country that we struggle for.
I'm telling you, they'll be like, this is not the place they were being buried. This is not the Gambia.
It's not the Gambia.
Because looking at the circumstances, you went on all the way to convince the white people who are actually known as the wealth-educated people. You convinced them for them to give you a whole country of its own to be independent.
Oh boy, what is it?